a different angle on the sunrise here. These old olive trees, marvelous phenomenon of nature. And then the palm tree, each year the gardener cuts off the branches. And there we have a little sliver of the moon. Soon turning into the next month. The old port area of Magdala. Part of it. Further to the south here in the Franciscan spot we have two docks with mooring stones in place from the Hasmonean period after the Maccabees up to Herod basically, and then we have a Roman period dock. They're over there in the Franciscan part just behind that little white house and to the right of those trees, right under those branches. So the big themes today that are spoken of, since we have to, I want to go down that way and do a little walk up around here. And we can peep into the Franciscan site, into the archaeology. Just have to watch my step here. I hear jets very high up in the sky. Oh yeah, I just saw it pass by the moon. I wonder if we can catch it on the camera. The screen isn't behaving for me. Yeah, it is. It's fully developed there, but I think that's a futile attempt right now. Get a little bit more height here. This is almost a nice spot up here. Now we can see into the archaeology. So the port area is right along here by those trees. The dock, actually straight ahead of us, I see now. Straight ahead of us right down here. You can see a bit of let's say a ditch, a deeper dig. Let's see if I can catch a little for you here. That's the gateway entering. Yeah, the thing is that this wall here is blocking it, but you can see a little bit of the dip there. My finger, where's it going here? My finger is too big for this. I should use a little straw or something. While we're at it, we might as well get a little bit higher still. There's still another meter here. Maybe we'll get a better angle also. So there we have the trees, and there we have this ditch. And so, let me see, where is that? Oh, there it is. That's a straw, but it's also very diffused. Not very good. Here we have a close-up of this tower that we often mention from the 2nd century. word for tower in Hebrew is Magdala. Magdala, Magdala. And then you have here one pillar standing at what's considered to be a bath area, and some surmised it was a synagogue. It has an unusual shape for a bath area, but who knows. And then under that little roof here, we've got structures like you find in Caesarea Maritima and in Beseeching. You have hot bath, or hot room, the calidarium. And then you had the refrigerator and the cold room. So it was for the Roman bath structures. There are also toilets here just inside this wall from the ancient time. And then the pillar bases that are over there are Byzantine period, as far as I remember, and it was part of a gymnasium, which in the Greek was it was an institution for body development, like body workouts, sports, but also education. And it gives rise to the gymnasium we use today. In an English sense, it's used particularly for sports facilities, but in other languages, in the Romance languages, it's the word for a classical high school. And they also have sports facilities, obviously, for the children, and obviously high caliber pre-university studies, and that word comes straight from the Greek as well. So there's a little bit of the Byzantine period Magdala over there, with 1700 years of archaeology there. From Hellenic times, so that Hasmonean period, after the Alexander the Great's conquest, here toward the east and further east towards India. And he died very young. His conquest didn't last very long for him. And then you had the successor regimes. Some of them went very harsh against the Jewish people, and that led to the Maccabean revolt. And the books of the Maccabees tell that story. So our themes for today then are dealing, maybe what we should focus on really is the psalm, because it connects it all. With the Lord there is mercy and fullness of redemption. And it's an appeal to the Lord: let your ears be attentive to my voice in supplication, to my prayer. Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord. And how many people feel in that situation, in real deep trouble, where everything seems to be lost, but they're holding on to the one anchor, to the Creator, the Redeemer God, who is filled with kindness and compassion. If you, O Lord, mark iniquities, who can stand? And all the logic of the first reading is very much taken into account by that line. If you, Lord, would mark our iniquities, who could stand? If you were to count our failings, our sins. And we oftentimes find our own weakness difficult to deal with, and only by God's grace is that possible. The Lord is kindness and compassion, and He comes to our aid even when we have done grave wrong deeds, also abusing our own health, abusing our own spiritual health with behaviors that are very counter to who we are. And detrimental to our well-being, to our true good. As many an addict discovers, an alcoholic, people who've gone down the roads of lust, of greed. Their heart is never satisfied. The craving for more. And no matter how much more, it will not is resolved, not satisfied. But with you is forgiveness. I trust in the Lord. My soul trusts in the Lord, in His word. My soul waits for the Lord. And that's one of the words, again, that's used in the first reading. Forbearance and patience. And this is the whole heart of God that's revealed. It was the theme the last couple of days. Bearing with us. Holding our weight. The problem we are. The problem a wayward child is for parents. And then there's the good child that's always good. The burden we are for God. The weariness we can cause, and then the community is saved by the forbearance of the parents, by God's forbearance for the community of the human family. Despite all our violence and our will to war, our will to fight, our will to hurt, our will to destroy each other, our will to control and dominate each other. And the Lord has the whole dominion in His hands, but He treats us all with patience and kindness. And there's one little word missing in the first reading at the very beginning. It doesn't have to be there, but it's in the original text, because we know that in the liturgy there are snippets are taken out with an emphasis on a particular section of thought, a piece of thought, a thought itself. And it starts off with the word now. In the original text it's but now, and you can just control that by hitting the link for the reading, and it will take you back. And that but now, a but always is in opposition to something that went before. This person is a great sportsman, but struggles with study. This person is a great neighbor, but I'll let you fill in the gaps, but don't judge them. So the but now, and we start that reading and it says, but now the righteousness of God has been manifested apart from the law. And this is a big theme in the letter to the Romans, and how we participate in the righteousness of God through faith. This palm-like plant figured yesterday in the live streams and the Facebook and the YouTube. I was struck by it in a special way yesterday. And there's a wonderful teaching here that there's no distinction, and that line came out earlier as well, that God doesn't show partiality between people. He gives each of us the gifts we have, and then we are responsible. We are blessed to have these gifts. We are entrusted with responsibility through these gifts. And we respond and account for these gifts, everyone, without partiality. An impartial judge is very much desired in society. Impartial public servants. And if there's any partiality, it's for the poorest and for those most in need, those most bereft. For there is no distinction. And in this case, it's not something we're really proud of. It's something we hang our heads in shame. There is no distinction. All have sinned and all are deprived of the glory of God. And all here means both Jews and Gentiles. The Jews had the great advantage of the law of God, but the law doesn't save us. What saves us is God's mercy, and that's revealed. But the law is a schooling of our whole behavior, our whole relationship fields, our personal identity, that we adore God, that we're adorers. We're created to be adorers of God. We're created to bring the whole universe in a song of praise to God, of worship, of praise. Thy will be done. A servant of God, a child of God. And then we have the gospel reading, which speaks about the being stuck to the law, imposing the law, judging by the law, and really missing the heart of God, that mercy and compassion, that understanding and forgiveness, and developing that wonderful love that's the crowning of the human being, that's our full flourishing. And so we could go back, and I leave that to yourselves. Just press on the link and read that psalm slowly. It's so wonderfully consoling. And also we can pray it for those who are in deep trouble, those who are in great blindness of violence. And we could pray the psalm for them. We could lend them our voice. And it's a beautiful exercise of charity. And it's a great prayer to offer for the turning and the transformation of the heart of the violent. Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord, Lord, hear my voice. I encourage you to do that today, because that's a very interesting, a very needed prayer, and very timely. The steps of peace are very fragile, and people sway over others and threaten others, and it's hard to fulfill all the conditions of agreements sometimes. And there we need a lot of prayer, that hearts will be generous and faithful and self-sacrificing to protect the peace, to build the peace that's so fragile. People, God bless you. See you later, alligators. So you see, I was really here, not just a voice hanging in the air.